Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Silverfort and Ping Identity webinar. My name is Jonathan Nativ, and I'm the Senior Director of Strategic Alliances at Silverfort. And together with me, we have Lauren. Lauren?
Yeah, Lauren Russin, SVP in our Product and Technology Alliance group at Ping, and happy to talk to you all today.
Perfect. So I'll let Lauren go ahead, and then I'll present the Silverfort part.
All right, sounds good. I wanted to start with just, we call it our brag slide, and it's just give you a little bit of context about Ping. And if you go left to right, it's highlighting that we have data centers across the globe. We are a recognized leader in many of the key analyst firms. We operate in fairly high, I call them highly compliance-driven industries, healthcare, banking. We're also working with Fortune 100 down to the 2000 type of market with over 8 billion accounts served. And we complement Silverfort in quite a unique way in the fact that we maintain many of the same key technology partnerships as well as we target many of the same customers. Now, if we move to the next slide, I wanted to set a bit of context because if you look at enterprise, quite often we talk about, if you're in the company and you're an employee, you don't really have to worry about their experience. But there was a recent study by the Gallup organization, and what they found was that organizations that engaged employees in better user experience actually saw a 21% increase in their profitability. Now, if you look at why that is, and let's look at the next slide. As we work with Silverfort to really, secure digital interactions for employees and third party, we focus on establishing trust with these users. And we do that by getting to know these users through explicit as well as implicit interactions with them. And by doing so, we're able to establish patterns about how they work, as well as get to know the user, get to know the device, and get to know the network they're on. So with this foundation of trust, you can innovate, secure, and customize any experience faster than ever before. Now, if we look at the next slide, Ping does work with value partners like Silverfort to deliver any experience the organization wants to enable for their users across their entire journey. And this really is focused on securing users, providing secure access to resources, preventing fraud, to initiate things like eliminating passwords, as well as enhance user experience, as well as ensuring compliance with modern identity and access management. Or in our words, just one identity solution is going to help, with Silverfort and with many of our other partners be able to deliver this solution. Now, if you look at the next slide, how does Ping do this? And it really is built around a unified identity platform. This platform lets you manage, access, and govern any identity. We also provide an orchestration layer that will go into a little more detail in the next few slides. And then it lets you orchestrate any experience for any type of user, all while protecting the user and resources and giving you a unified identity control plane with AI at its core. And so I'll leave you just with this catchphrase of any user, any experience in one platform. Now, if we look at the next slide, you'll notice that modern user journeys are very sophisticated and complex, and it really is caused by the need to integrate with many third-party and homegrown systems. That usually results in inflexible user experience that is difficult and expensive to maintain. But if we go to the next slide, this just illustrates how leveraging an enterprise-grade orchestration layer, you almost democratize all the APIs and the user experience across them, provide essentially a platform that takes and makes complex consumable. And by doing so, we can reduce the overall risk to your employees. We can also boost productivity by providing unique and secure journeys for every time a user tries to access these various systems. In fact, we have one customer that I have worked with that has 45 plus unique authentication journeys they have for their frontline and knowledge workers, really just illustrating that in modern journeys, the best way to secure user is to give them a delightful user experience through orchestration. Now, in the next slide, at Ping, we provide enterprise orchestration capabilities in the cloud as well as self-managed software deployments. And the demos you're going to see today are really highlighting PingOne DaVinci. Now, the orchestration capabilities range from drag and drop design studios, best practice flow templates, centralized analytics and dashboards to monitor usage patterns, as well as even A/B testing. And we're finding this is one of the features that many customers use is they can create multiple journeys, test which flows and which decisions work best for their employees and their contractors, and be able to then choose the best path forward for implementing. And then last is the DaVinci provides a marketplace that includes pre-built workflows and templates, as well as integration with third parties to a vast set of capabilities. And then move to the next slide. And so it is worth just pointing out that, you know, as we look at security and as we look at the users that we're trying to enable, users given a very difficult security or very complex solution usually chooses a less secure path. And so looking at orchestration, and hopefully in some of the demos, you'll start to see how we've minimized friction. We simplified the process that users have to go through. We can help those end users make better choices for their security, because in reality, good experience leads to better security. So Jonathan, I'll hand off to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lauren. So I'll pick up where Lauren left off, and first of all, talk about our own bragging slide. I like that term. I think I'm going to use it going forward. So just a little bit about Silverfort. We have more than 1,000 customers, globally enterprise customers. We also partner with some of the biggest technology players out there, specifically Ping being one of them. And we have a really rich set of customers that we're really proud of the level of security that we can bring to them. And Silverfort is really focused on identity security. And continuing with what Lauren said, really about reducing the friction, because we really believe that reducing the friction and providing a great user experience is really what leads to a great security posture for the customer and for the user. So Silverfort's goal is to meet the end user in the same space that they're familiar with, in what they're using day to day to manage and to protect their identities. We don't want to introduce something new. We want to fit into their current workflow and user experience. But before we demo that, and I promise to show you a few demos in just a second, I kind of want to talk about the elephant in the room, Active Directory. So as much as we all like to be 100% in the cloud and based on these amazing new technologies that we have from companies like Ping, and assuming everything is the most modern, up-to-date, sophisticated technology, especially when it comes to security and identity. The sad truth is that a lot of organizations are still very heavily reliant on Active Directory, which is more than 25 years old at this point. And that means a lot in the technology world. So how do we overcome this big challenge that we have and bring modern security controls that Ping provides to legacy applications and legacy environments? And we really want to uncover those security blind spots or identity blind spots that we have. So it's security gaps with Active Directory. It's systems that don't support MFA or modern authentication that we want them to support. Service accounts, non-human identities, which is becoming a critical part of every organization that we need to protect. And how do we provide efficient privileged access controls in a way that's easy to deploy and easy to maintain? And one of the best ways that customers can do that is by leveraging their Ping investment already, by leveraging their Ping infrastructure and their Ping products that they already have and love and use on a day-to-day basis. So that includes DaVinci, which Lauren mentioned, but it also includes Ping One and Ping Federate, to be able to use that same user experience, the same policies, and the same cutting-edge technology that you're using for every other part of your network to also protect all of your identities, including your on-prem and legacy applications. So I want to show you a few quick demos. In general, we have 5 demos here that I'm going to show you, but they're all pretty short, so don't worry about that. We're going to kind of jump straight into it. So the first demo that we're going to show you is one that has to do with admins, or specifically database admins. Today, protecting our databases is more critical than ever. So what we'll see in this demo video is a database admin that is trying to log on to a legacy database that stores customer data, for example. And what we're going to see here is the same SQL Management Studio that we're familiar with, except what's going to happen this time is that the user is going to be prompted to sign in with Ping Federate. So again, going back to what we talked about, the user experience and making it simple for the user, which is going to help increase security. The users are already familiar on how to sign in with Ping. So this just integrates directly into that flow. So they click sign in with Ping, they enter their credentials like they're used to doing for every other business application, and they get the same user experience on their mobile device. In this case, they sign in, scans my face, and now I'll be connected to the SQL database. And the important thing here to notice is that we didn't need to make any changes to the database. This can be a legacy database from 20 years ago. It stays all the same. We don't need to make any changes to the infrastructure. And just by implementing Silverfort together with Ping ID, we're able to elevate that level of security by keeping the same user experience or a very simple user experience for the customer. The next demo that I want to show is about accessing legacy applications. Again, I think we all want to dream about the day where we're all using SaaS applications for everything that we do. But in reality, when we talk about the manufacturing space, the financial, government, there are still a lot of legacy applications that are around. So in this example, you'll see something very similar. A user opens up a web application, enters their username and password, or has single sign-on. And we see the exact same thing happen. The user is prompted, in this case, to log in with Ping Federate, the same as we saw before. They get a pop-up, they log in with Ping Federate, and the push notification goes to their phone. They approve, scans the face, and they can continue. So we're bringing modern authentication capabilities. We're bringing smart policies from the cloud, from Ping to on-prem legacy applications in a very simple manner that didn't require us to make any changes to the web application, and it didn't require us to make any changes to the infrastructure that is running this legacy web application. So I'll show you one more example, which I think completely highlights how low level we can get. This is the most legacy thing that I could think of, a remote PowerShell session. Again, very admin related, very privileged user that's running this command, very dangerous in an environment, a standard PowerShell session that an attacker can use to move across the network. And again, in this case, prompted with Ping, go through the exact same flow, run through the policy that Ping has, so it can include a lot of different sources of information to make this decision. And at the end of the flow, we are getting the Ping app requesting us to provide MFA. We click yes. And once it is approved, we can see that the PowerShell session is completed. So again, providing a very high level of security with minimum disruption to the end user and utilizing all the benefits that Ping provides. So we will continue here. So just high level about how it works. The user is sending the request from their machine in the same way that they have been doing till now. It goes to the identity provider, Active Directory in the case of the demos that I was showing. From there, Silverfort will pick up the authentication in real time, and it will bridge it. We call it the identity bridge. We will bridge it to Ping Identity in order to run it through the Ping policy. And based on what is defined in the Ping policy, and the demos that I showed you, the policy defined to run an MFA or to request an MFA, once the response is received on a successful MFA, that response is given to the identity provider, and the request is released, and the user is able to access the resource, SQL, RDP, legacy, whatever it was, and continue with their work. And Silverfort also integrates with DaVinci, so we can actually we can build custom flows to determine authentication based on information that's coming from Silverfort. So Silverfort is constantly analyzing all of the authentications in the network and providing a risk score for each user, each authentication, and each machine. Silverfort can feed that information into DaVinci to be able to use that real-time information to make decisions on whether or not a user needs to do step-up authentication, or we need to disable a user, enable a user, or do all of the amazing things that the DaVinci automation platform can do. So there's two different types of integrations here that we can use in order to increase the security level and provide a great user experience for the end users. And all of this is being done without the need for proxies, without the need to make any application changes or workflow changes for the customers and the end users. Two more things that I want to touch on as far as the Silverfort platform. One is non-human identities, NHI, which is becoming very important for organizations to be able to not only protect, but gain visibility into what their non-human users are doing. So application to applications, Think about a database communicating with the web server, the amount of information that is being exchanged. It's very, very important to be able to control that and limit what each of those users are allowed to do. Unlike a human user, where the onboarding process and the offboarding process are usually very well documented and implemented, for application users or non-human identities, they can live for years and years and decades inside an organization. And many times their passwords are never changed and they have extremely high privileges. And that's why it's one of the main things that attackers are going after once they get into the network is to look and to use those non-human identities to take over the network. So that's something that Silverfort is able to help provide visibility, but also protection for. And the last part of the Silverfort platform that I want to mention is around our privileged access security, specifically for the on-prem environments, which is a lot of times overlooked. So it's very important to be able to implement quickly a privileged access solution that doesn't require vaulting, it doesn't require agent, it doesn't require changes to the user experience. Again, by sitting at the identity level, at the identity provider level, we're able to see all of the authentications, to categorize which are privileged access and which are not, and then to provide a layer of security in the form of privileged access management and just-in-time enforcement to all of those privileged access requests. And with that, I'll say thank you. And Lauren, if you have anything else to add, now would be a great time.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you for the demos and the details around it. I remember a conversation I had with a large bank in Canada, and I remember asking them about their cloud migration strategy, and I kind of had the all or nothing approach in my head, and so I asked them, how long is it going to take for you to get fully in the cloud? Because that was their vision, and they said, probably 5 years to never. And it was that notion that, all of those mission critical applications that you talked about, all of those that we, consider sometimes edge cases, but they are the custom apps, the heart and soul of every organization. So to your point, how can you take Ping solution and augment it, really modernize it for those legacy environments? You really are just believing that, yes, these will be around forever and I need to protect them because they are kind of the heart and soul of my company. So yeah, it was great presentation, good demo.
I mean, I appreciate it. And yeah, a great example. And I think we'd all like to think that Active Directory or on-prem is going away, but I think not in our careers, not in our lifetimes, unfortunately.
Especially mine. All right.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jonathan.